started 2 days ago. The air's been heavier since then, like breathing through a wet cloth. And yesterday, when we walked out of school, we saw it. A red fog, creeping over the hills like blood soaking through cotton. People say it's nothing. Forest fires, they told us. Early morning mist, one teacher claimed. But I've never seen fog move like that. It didn't drift, it crawled. Came in low, pulsing through the tree line, hugging the roads like it was sniffing for something. There's 6 of us, me, Noah, my sister Casey, her best friend Jules, Milo, Tyler, and Frankie. We've grown up in this town, walked the same roads, gone to the same school, skipped the same boring assemblies every year. But the last 2 days, the air feels off. It's too quiet. No birds, no wind, just fog and the low hum that started last night. We were at Milo's house, playing cards in the garage with the door open, when we heard it, this deep, throbbing sound like 1,000 engines buried underground. Jules said it sounded like breathing, like the town was alive. We all laughed, and then the power cut out. His garage light snapped off. His mom screamed inside, and the fog rolled right past the end of the driveway. Thick and glowing dull red. It lit itself. It didn't need headlights to be seen. We tried calling our parents. No signal. All of us. The next morning, the fog was still there. Except now it's closer. Our principal told us not to worry, but there was panic behind her eyes. 3 kids from the elementary school didn't show up today. No one's seen them. Frankie's older brother, who works night shift at the gas station, never came home either. Everyone in town is pretending nothing's wrong. Like this is fine. Like fog that stains your clothes red and buzzes in your ears is part of normal life. But it's not. Tonight we met up at Tyler's place. He's got a drone with a night cam. We flew it over the tree line. And what we saw, there's something moving inside the fog. Tall shapes, too tall, almost dragging themselves through it. Their limbs don't match. They stretch wrong, like shadows that forgot how to stay still. One of them turned toward the drone and the signal cut immediately. We thought it was just bad luck, until Milo got a text from his cousin, who lives on the other side of town. It said, "We saw someone walking through the fog. Looked like Dad, but he's been dead 6 years. Don't come near the windows. Now the fog is at our street. It's seeping in under doors. It doesn't smell like smoke or mist. It smells like wet stone and meat. I'm writing this from the attic. The others are barricading the stairs. Casey is crying, holding our dog. Jules is praying. But me, I think we were meant to see it. Because just now, just outside the fog, I swear I saw myself, standing in the street, not moving, not breathing, just waiting." The fog touched the front porch at 1:06 a.m. That's when we heard the first scream. Not a scream like someone stubbed their toe. This was wet, choking, like someone tried to scream with their throat already open and leaking. Frankie rushed to the window. I grabbed him too late. There was someone on our street, walking weird, barefoot, twitching, arms long, too long. His jaw was wide open, broken looking, and dripping. But the worst part? He was wearing Tyler's missing brother's hoodie. Except Tyler's brother died last summer in a lake accident. Closed casket. We saw the obituary. But this thing was wearing his skin like a memory. It looked up at the house. Didn't blink. Just kept grinning. Frankie stumbled back, hit the floor, and started whispering something. Over and over. "It's not him. It's not him. It's not him." That's when the scratching started. At the back door. The attic went silent except for Casey's breathing. I gripped the flashlight, shaking. Everyone was staring at the trapdoor below us, like whatever was out there might suddenly be in here. Then the door slammed open downstairs. Would split. Something wet dragged itself across the tile. We heard its bones click. Click, click, click. Each step sounded wrong, like someone walking on shattered glass with bare feet. But there was no scream, no charge. It just moved, like it knew we'd fall apart long before it needed to run. We blocked the attic trapdoor with furniture. I held a kitchen knife in my hand like it meant anything. My arms ached. Tyler whispered, What the F asterisk 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 is that thing? None of us answered. And then Casey's nose started bleeding. Just pouring. Thick and black. Not blood. It smelled like iron and rot. Her eyes rolled back, and she said, "Don't let it touch your lungs." We all froze. "What did you say?" I asked. She blinked. Looked at me. I didn't say anything. The scratching returned, but now it was on the ceiling. Above us. Outside the roof. Then the wood started to bulge. Something was pushing down from the other side. Not punching. Not clawing. Pressing like it was trying to flatten itself through. The floor under me turned cold. And the fog was leaking through the vents. We saw it curl around our shoes, rising slow, pulsing red. The flashlight beam caught the particles in the air, and that's when we saw the things floating in it. Teeth. Not from one mouth, hundreds. All sizes. Baby teeth. Molars. Sharpened. Rotted. Pulled. They swirled in the fog like it was breathing them out. Jules panicked. She kicked open the attic window and screamed, "Run!" We didn't think. We followed. Tyler jumped down first, rolled his ankle and screamed. Milo grabbed him. I helped Casey. Everyone was yelling. The fog wrapped around our legs instantly, freezing cold, like needles under the skin. I swear I saw it crawl into Tyler's mouth when he screamed again. Then he stopped moving. Eyes open. Skin cracked. His mouth slowly opened wider and wider like it was being peeled from the inside. And something in the fog crawled out of him. Tall. Twisting. No skin. Just teeth. I turned and ran, dragging Casey and Jules with me. Behind us, Milo screamed and then went silent. I haven't looked back. I won't. We're in the woods now, hiding in an old hunting shack we didn't know existed until tonight. The fog hasn't reached us here yet, but Casey's eyes are still bleeding. She's drawing circles in the dirt, and when I asked her what she's doing, she said, "This is where we died last time." We stayed in that shack until sunrise. At least we thought it was sunrise. The fog never left. It just dimmed a little, less red, more gray. But it never lifted. We hadn't heard a single siren. No helicopters. No announcements. It's like the whole town got cut off. Jules kept checking her phone. Still no signal. Batteries dying. She started writing things down in case we didn't make it. Names, time, what we saw. That's when we heard the first voice. Outside. A man coughing, stumbling. "Help! Please!" he called out. "My daughter! She's hurt." We rushed to the broken window, but there was no man. Just the fog. And a shape moving in it. Tall. Limping. One arm hanging wrong. A black stain trailing behind it. Then we saw what it was dragging. A little girl's body. No movement. Just the wet slosh of flesh against pavement. And the thing dragging her? It looked like a man, sure. Clothes, posture, even the voice was close. But his head was tilted at a perfect 90 degrees. Like it had been snapped clean and left dangling. He stopped right in front of the shack. Sniffed the air. Then he whispered, "I can smell your blood." We didn't breathe. Didn't move. He dropped the girl and bolted at the door like a rabid animal. Boom. First hit. Wood cracked. Boom, second. He wasn't trying to get in. He was trying to collapse the shack. I grabbed the only weapon we had, a rusted axe from the wall, and told the others to run out the back while I distracted him. He slammed the door again, and I opened it just as he reared back. Steel met bone. I split his collar. Not deep, but it slowed him. Black blood sprayed my face. Burned like acid. He didn't scream. Didn't flinch. Just laughed. A dry, shaking sound. Then his jaw unhinged, and he lunged. I ran. We regrouped deeper in the woods. Tyler was gone. Milo was gone. Now it was just me, Jules, and Casey, who hadn't spoken since Tyler's body collapsed in the street. Her skin was turning pale. Something's in her. She won't admit it, but she's coughing up red threads, and they move like worms. She's dying. Or changing. We don't know which. We found an abandoned ranger station around noon, locked from the inside. When we broke in, we found the body. A ranger, split open, gutted. his hands nailed to the ceiling by tree branches, like the forest itself had punished him. But the radio still worked. I screamed into it. "Is anyone out there? Our town is covered in fog. People are dead. We're being hunted." A pause. Then a voice replied, "How long has it been since you saw the sky?" I froze. "What? If the fog touched your blood, you're not human anymore." We burned the ranger's body that night. It started moving when the sun dipped behind the fog again. No illusions, no tricks. His body twisted, rose, and came after us. Half his face gone, guts hanging. He didn't care, just moved. Fast, brutal. We axed him, tore him apart, screamed. He wouldn't stop until Jules drove the flare gun into his mouth and pulled the trigger. The fire lit the station for 5 seconds. Long enough for us to see the others in the fog. At least 12 of them, standing still, watching, waiting. We boarded the place up. Every window, every vent. But I know they're out there. And Casey's breathing is getting shallow. And I don't think she'll wake up tomorrow. But that might be the kindest thing left in this town. Because once the fog touches you, you don't die. You stay. Casey died at 3:42 a.m. No screaming. No warning. Just a rattle in her chest like something was shaking the lungs loose from her ribs. I held her hand until the light left her eyes. She stopped breathing. Then, she started twitching. Jules begged me not to do it. Said we could wait. Said maybe it was just a reaction, a seizure or something. But I'd seen what came next. I'd seen what Tyler became. What Milo became. I took the axe and brought it down on Casey's neck. Once, twice, 3 times. It wasn't clean. Nothing in this town is. Jules threw up in the corner. I didn't stop her. I just sat there with what was left of my sister in my lap and listened to the way the fog breathed outside. Like it knew. Like it approved. We left the ranger station just before daylight, or whatever passed for it now. Packed food, blades, a flare gun with 1 shot, and a single working flashlight. The fog didn't chase us. It never does. It waits. That's what makes it worse. We decided to head west. If there was help anywhere, it'd be past the state line. 40 minutes away by car. 8 hours on foot. We didn't even make it halfway. Around mile 3, we reached a stretch of old highway, dead straight, trees on both sides. And that's when we saw the town sign, "Welcome to Windmere, a nice place to breathe." Jules stopped. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." We turned around. The same sign was behind us. Both directions. I walked back the way we came. 5 minutes. 10. The same sign. Same potholes. Same bloodstain on the road we hadn't even noticed before. "Check your phone," I said. She did. Date: October 23rd. Time: 4:03 a.m. Battery: 47%. She closed the screen. Opened it again. October 23rd. 4:03 a.m. 47%. It hadn't changed. We started to run. Didn't matter which way, just away. Then we heard it. Footsteps. Fast. Dozens of them. From the woods. And the sound of bones scraping bark. The fog moved with them. Shapes began to emerge. Slouched bodies with no faces. Some crawled on all fours with their joints bent backward. Some dragged their skin behind them like blankets. One had a mouth that stretched from ear to ear, filled with nothing but nails. I fired the flare. The light lit up their eyes. So many eyes. None human. None kind. We ran. We made it to a tunnel beneath the old freight tracks. Dark, tight, but clear. The only place the fog didn't immediately follow. We caught our breath inside. Crouched in the middle. No talking. Just the sound of Jules crying and my heartbeat trying to punch through my ribs. Then we saw it. A handprint. On the wall. Fresh. Wet. Fingers too long. Palm too narrow. And written beneath it, in blood, were the words, "You don't get to leave." Jules dropped the flashlight. It rolled across the tunnel, hit something and stopped. Something that breathed back. The flashlight flickered. Then we saw it. A pile of people. Still alive. Mouths sewn shut. No legs. Stacked like trash. and watching us. Their eyes begged, pleaded. One tried to raise a hand. No fingers. Jules screamed. And that was when something behind us started crawling down the tunnel wall. Clicking. Laughing. We ran. We're in a drainage pipe now. I'm using the last of my battery to write this. Jules is sleeping. I think. I hope. We don't know what day it is anymore. We don't know if anyone is left. The fog isn't following rules. It's everywhere. But I saw something in the tunnel past the pile. A map. A door. A way out. If we're still alive tomorrow, we're going to find it. We left the drainage pipe just before dawn. Or what we guessed was dawn. The sun didn't rise. The red fog just shifted to gray again. Everything looked the same. Sky, ground, earth, all the same sick color. Like we were walking through someone's infected lung. Jules didn't speak much after the tunnel. Can't blame her. She saw a boy she used to babysit nailed to the underside of the bridge. His mouth sewn shut, his stomach hollowed like a jack-o'-lantern. She didn't scream this time. She just shook. We followed the map I saw on the tunnel wall. Burned into stone with what looked like claws. A crude circle marked, "You are here." A thin line, like a route, led away from it, west, toward something labeled exit. Except exit was scratched out, and something was written over it. If you can make a choice. We didn't know what it meant. We still don't. But we followed the route line for hours. Through woods that never seemed to end. Past cars split open like fruit. Past trees wrapped in torn clothes, still damp with blood. And eventually we reached a fork. One road went left, steep incline, thick trees. The other dipped right, down into a shallow valley choked in fog. There was a sign between them, freshly painted, still dripping. One path is death, the other is home. Choose. Jules lost it. This is a game, she shouted. It's watching us. It's laughing at us. She picked up a rock and threw it into the valley road. Nothing. Then she grabbed a branch and tossed it up the hill. Same. But I looked around the trees, and I saw them again. Eyes in the bark, in the rocks, in the mud, just watching, waiting. We chose the hill. Maybe we chose wrong. The incline got steep fast. Hard to breathe. The air thinned. Jules started coughing again, harder than before. Her nose bled, then her ears. We stopped. She dropped to her knees. I turned to help her, and that's when I saw the fog had closed the valley path behind us, swallowed it whole. Jules looked at me and whispered. It didn't care which road we picked. It just wanted us to pick. And then something burst out of the trees. It was fast, on all fours, skinless, faceless, snarling. A row of human teeth jammed where its stomach should be. Its arms ended in hooks. Not blades, actual rusted hooks, like from a butcher's wall. It hit Jules first, dragged her by the ankle. She screamed and swung her flashlight. I chased it. It pulled her into a clearing. A circle of dead animals, all laid out perfectly. Rabbits, birds, dogs, each with the skin peeled off but the eyes intact. Jules clawed at the ground. I buried the axe into the creature's spine. It screamed, this high metal shriek like steel tearing inside a furnace. Black blood sprayed my face, boiled my cheek. I swung again, and again, until it stopped moving. Jules was alive, barely. Her leg was torn open to the bone. I lifted her. She passed out in my arms. Now we're in some kind of cabin. Small, cracked windows, empty fireplace. Someone's been here before. There's food, a lantern, and a note nailed to the wall. If you've made it this far, you've been marked. It knows you, and it will follow you if you leave. Outside, the fog is circling, but I think I see something out in the distance. Past the trees, lights, a tower, possible exit. But we have to make it there, together, even if it costs everything. We left the cabin just after dark. Jules was pale, weak. Her leg was wrapped in a blood-soaked towel. Every few steps she groaned, and I thought about telling her to stay. But we both knew what would happen if we stayed. The fog doesn't leave you alone. It waits. It whispers. and eventually it opens you from the inside. So we walked, or limped in her case, through the trees, past more bodies, some hanging, some buried in shallow dirt that breathed. We didn't stop to look anymore. We just kept going. The tower was real. We reached its base an hour later. Maybe less. We couldn't tell time anymore. All we knew was the fog hated it. It didn't get within 10 feet. Like the ground around it burned it away. A tall concrete structure with radio dishes and shattered windows, covered in vines and symbols we couldn't read, burned into the stone. Like someone tried to warn the world too late. The door at the bottom was wide open, lights flickering inside, generators still humming. We stepped in. The first floor was covered in blood. Not dry, wet, fresh, pooled. And in the center, a man, naked, guts spread like wings, still breathing. He turned to us slowly, one eye left, and wheezed. "You brought it closer." Then he laughed until he choked on his own organs. Jules collapsed, couldn't keep walking. I carried her up the stairs. Step by step, the walls narrowed. Each landing had something worse. Second floor, a wall of photographs, missing people from the town. All their eyes scratched out. All except ours. Ours were still intact. Third floor, recordings. Over and over. A voice screaming, "Don't follow the fog. Follow the light. Follow the static. It's not a weather event. It's hungry. It remembers where pain lives." Fourth floor, mirrors. And behind one I saw my mom, or someone using her face. She was smiling, but her teeth were all wrong. We reached the top floor just after the lights died. Only a red bulb pulsed now like a heartbeat. There were 3 chairs, a table, and a large screen, cracked but still working. Someone was watching the town. Fog rolled across the screen like fingers, and inside it, I saw what the fog had been hiding. A massive thing buried beneath our streets, like a corpse made of mouths. Dozens of arms reaching through cracks in the fog, each one dragging someone deeper. It wasn't spreading. It was feeding. Then the speaker crackled. A voice, cold, calm, male. "You've seen it now. That means it's seen you." Jules whimpered. Her skin was graying. I grabbed the flare gun. My last shot. The screen showed the fog climbing the tower. "You can try to run," the voice said. "But the fog remembers pain, and it always comes home." Jules looked at me. "Do it," she said, "before it changes me." I held the flare gun to her head. Tears. Shaking. Silence. "I'm not letting it take me," she said. I pulled the trigger. Her blood hit the walls. The fog screamed outside, like something felt it die. Then silence. I'm alone now. I don't know if I'll survive the night, but the thing in the fog is coming up the stairs, and I'm not running anymore. I've got the axe. I've got the fire, and I've got nothing left to lose. Let it come. Let it see what's left of me. I didn't run when the thing broke into the top floor. I charged. The axe sank into its chest, if you could call it a chest. It felt like swinging into raw meat wrapped in wire. I screamed. So did I. Blood, black, hot, and burning, sprayed across my face, kept coming. It didn't care about pain. It slammed me into the wall. Bones cracked. My shoulder popped. I stabbed it with the flare gun barrel, still hot from Jules. His hand wrapped around my neck. Too many fingers. Then I saw its face up close. No eyes, no nose. Just a mouth that opened sideways, from one temple to the other. Inside, rows of teeth grinding in reverse. But something else too. Faces, dozens pressed inside it, screaming silently. One of them was Jules. I screamed her name, paused, just for a second, and I used that second to rip the axe up through its jaw. It fell, but the fog didn't stop. I knew what I had to do. There was one more staircase going down, below the tower, into the ground, into whatever pit this all crawled from. I grabbed the lantern, the axe, and what was left of my body, and I went down. Basement 1, rot, dripping walls, the sound of flies that didn't exist. Basement 2, stairs covered in teeth, loose human teeth. Basement 3, A metal door. Bent. Melted. Something tore through it. And behind it, the heart. It wasn't a machine. It wasn't human. It was something alive, buried beneath our town like a tumor no one ever cut out. A thing made of mouths, arms, screaming faces, and a black, pulsing core in the center. A mass of veins beating like a second sun. The fog poured from it. Thick, heavy. It wasn't gas. It was breath. The thing was breathing out hell. And it saw me, turned its mouths toward me. Hundreds, all whispering. One becomes many. Join us. I lit the lantern. I poured the oil across the floor. I threw the flare gun into the core. The fire didn't stop. The creature howled. 1,000 voices, melting, shrieking, clawing at the walls. The tower shook. The concrete cracked. The ground began to sink. I tried to crawl back up the stairs. Didn't make it. I woke up in a crater. Ash everywhere. No fog. My hands were burned. Skin peeled off in strips. My throat dry. I screamed and nothing came out. But the sky was blue. I'd forgotten what that looked like. I staggered through the ruins. No monsters. No shadows. Just ruined silence. I walked into town. No one left. Buildings collapsed. Roads cracked. Bodies, real ones, dead, lined the sidewalks. I was alone, but I'd won, or so I thought, until I saw the sign. Welcome to Windmere, a nice place to breathe. And right below it, someone had carved, IT only sleeps. The fog is gone, for now, but sometimes at night I still hear it. That second breath, that clicking in the dark, waiting, because it remembers me, and one day it's gonna wake up again.